tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
Welcome to the TheKindaGaming show.
Really slow and somber.
Yeah,
Bum,
well,
bum.
it's
It's a shitty day.
yeah, it's a bad day for internet users everywhere, and
Because Brandon's not here, right?
yeah, because Brandon's not
Yeah,
here.
right.
Toast to the fallen homie.
He ditched us for Star Wars.
Yep.
Yeah, obviously much better reasons.
Sure.
So no, but you know, in more serious news, net neutrality. The internet's fucked.
Yeah, it's quite the fucking.
Sorta.
Yeah, I mean, it could
It has the
could-
potential to be
Yeah,
fucked.
it could be.
There,
it could be turned down by Congress if they do what they're
It's the first
supposed to.
step of being fucked.
Yeah.
This is foreplay.
Yeah. So we have
The
somebody.
jammies are off.
We have somebody coming on.
Barry White's in the background.
Yeah,
Jimmy
exactly.
is on.
We have somebody coming on who knows probably a lot more than any of us. Freelance writer Janet Burns had an article come out today on Forbes.com regarding this exact subject. So she's going to be calling in around 8:30 to talk with us about net neutrality. So
I mean, I'm sure Bernard's very well informed on the subject.
Just a little bit.
Oh, okay, never
Yeah.
mind.
that might have been a smart aleck response, though. Like, he's actually very informed.
Oh, right. Yeah, I can't see him right here.
Wow, do you really think that lowly of me? Damn. Really?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
No, I was being genuine. He's saying you might have been fucking with me.
I thought you were being sarcastic. My bad.
Bum. It was Andrew.
Dude, it was Andrew the whole time.
All right.
Womp.
So what are we doing, Andrew?
So this first half an hour, I figure, you know, freestyle, free for all.
Oh, shit. Someone throw down a beat.
Yeah, exactly. Oh.
Oh, he's gonna get you a
He's
beat.
gonna find you a beat, and
shit.
you're gonna have to do a freestyle now.
Uh-oh.
So you better get ready.
Okay, hold on. I got to come up with some rhymes. No, let's not do this. Please, no.
So- no,
You
well,
gotta
it's
do
too
it.
late
It's
now.
too late. You already agreed.
Didn't you remember Bernard only does the first thing you tell him?
Oh, fuck, that's right.
Yeah, we already told him get a beat, and he's all like, "All right, this is
Yep.
until this is done. This is all I'm doing."
Then give me Shook Ones Part 2, just the instrumental.
No, didn't I already tell you he's only doing the first
Fuck,
thing?
damn it.
Uh,
Was that it? Wait, what?
Here's a beat.
What is this? Oh, okay.
I'm just finding random drop bass beats.
Oh, nice.
It's a good idea.
Was that from The Message?
No.
It's not the
24
main.
karat.
Ah, okay.
Some Skrillex in there. All right, Miguel.
Is that what that
It's
is?
your time to shine.
all right, man, go ahead.
Fuck.
He's gonna start talking about his dick.
Oh, yeah. Average size dick. You know we're getting sick. I don't know. Fucking, I'm not gonna actually do it.
Weak.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
I can't. I never claimed to be able to freestyle.
So, you know, we actually have gotten away from talking about things we've been playing recently and like new updates and stuff.
Probably 'cause we're not playing anything new.
Well, I did buy something new the other day when
did you?
Miguel and I and Cass went and saw the Disaster Artist, which, by the way, fantastic movie.
Mhm.
I bought the Hori mini pad
Oh,
for
that's
the
right.
PlayStation 4.
Oh
and
yeah, I
I've
remember
been,
you saw that picture.
I've been using it as my main controller.
You still
since-
like it? You like it?
I do. I
Ah.
genuinely like it. I've been playing Fortnite and
He cannot wait. He pulled it out of the box in the fucking mall and shit.
yeah, I did make sure and put it on my hands and Cassie's hands, and we rubbed our hands together, and yeah,
It's meant to feel like a classic pad, yeah? Is that the point?
yeah, exactly. The closest thing I could probably say that it reminds me of is a Super Nintendo controller.
Okay. So what do you think of it in comparison to say the Wii Classic controller?
I don't think
Did you
I've
ever
ever
use
held
that?
a Wii
No.
Classic controller because unlike most normal people, I used Wiimotes for everything, like including Smash and all that shit.
You weirdo.
Yeah, exactly. I would use that, or when I was playing Mario Kart, I would
Would you-
use the Wiimote instead of a GameCube controller.
You never played anything like the Super Nintendo, what do you call it, virtualware or anything like that?
No?
Oh, wow. Because that would be weird to play with a remote and nunchuck. Just seems
You know what's weird?
wonky.
Wiimote and everything. Fucking hated it.
Really?
Switch Joy-Cons? not so bad.
I
Having
like
that
them a lot.
standardized layout of the buttons,
I have
feels
tiny
great.
fucking hands, so the Joy-Cons are awesome to me.
right? Yeah, holding the thing up puts stress on my wrists, and like I don't know. I don't enjoy playing it like on a thing, but if I'm like on the couch, I can just have my hands behind my head,
You know,
fucking lounging.
one weird thing. So I played through the entirety of Breath of the Wild, mostly handheld,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I was doing that, it was like totally fine. But then for some reason, when I'm playing Skyrim, my like right hand is cramping up. I don't know why. Like for some reason, the way I hold it to do the archery in Skyrim is different. I guess it's weird. And then I had a problem with Doom too. For some reason, when I was playing Doom, I was just like, I can't think of a way to play a first-person shooter with this shit.
Got to silence my phone.
So, but yeah, I actually was always been a fan of the Wii Remote. I used it for everything unless it was Virtual Console.
Mm. Fuck that shit.
What about you, Andrew? You were all just Wii Remote?
Yeah, all Wii Remote, pretty much no matter what I played.
Didn't you say that you played Smash single Wii Remote?
Yeah, single Wii Remote, no
Oh
nunchuck.
yeah, you guys
on
mentioned that
side and
before.
shit. Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah, it's just
weirdo.
to be honest, I felt like it almost gave me an advantage because my
The
finger.
B button is underneath.
Yeah, exactly. I would always be on the shield,
But that's
and
the
it would
thing.
make
Like,
it so easy for me to dodge roll with it.
but even when you're playing with remote and nunchuck, your fingers on every button except for the D-pad up there.
Yeah, but it's like when you're holding the controller and you're putting pressure on it left or right, inherently this finger is going to move, which makes it like hit the button.
I can see that.
Like the only thing that was awkward with it is grabbing, which I don't even remember how to do on it offhand. Like it
Where
was
is
not
the- yeah, where
easy
is the
to
Z?
be able to grab somebody. I think you have to press the plus button.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm not saying. Oh yeah, like
was
that's
it
confirmed.
wasn't it just A and B on that controller?
It might have been
That
like,
was
I think
an
you just-
alternative
yeah,
control anyway.
I
So
think
yeah.
you just squeezed it. Yeah,
yeah. So
I did like it. I actually played like that a few times. So
yeah, it's like a lot of times when I went over to friends' houses, they would all have GameCube controllers and one Wiimote, and they'd be happy when I was there because they would be like, "Man, someone's stuck with a Wiimote." But if I'm there, I'm just like, "Yes."
that's me.
Yeah, exactly. Or if it was like a group setting, it was great because they'll be like, "Oh, loser passes it up," and I'd be like, "Do you want the Wiimote?" And they'd be like,
You can play.
I think honestly, the only mainline controller that I wasn't like a super fan of was the Dreamcast controller,
Really?
just because it was really thin.
Thin.
Yeah,
Okay.
like the actual build of it, like it itself was wide, but like the way its like grips were.
Okay,
And
I didn't recognize that. I got some monster hands.
I've got like smaller hands.
It's
Let's
so
just- I
wide.
don't
Like yeah,
know.
your fingers just fan out in the back.
not the width of that.
I know,
but,
but like even though it's thin, you don't have to like curl your hand to grip it. You just let your fingers fan out.
yeah, for
in the
me it just
back.
felt funky, and
Or,
then it,
like,
and then
it's
it
kind
has
of
that like
this.
that slippery plastic.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I never had a problem.
Okay, I
with it.
got you.
Yeah, it was like I don't hate it, but it was the only one where else. And then the cord comes out the bottom. You have to like route it through the top.
Actually,
that was weird.
Back then, I
But-
had little kid hands, so I did have a little bit of trouble with the controller, but that was reaching buttons.
Yeah, for me it was just like this is a little weird, but all right, whatever. I did love the Dreamcast, so it didn't prevent me from playing the system. It wasn't that big of a deal.
I don't think I've ever had a controller that I've inherently just said, "No, I don't like this."
Not the ColecoVision.
No, the closest thing I've had was probably when I was really young and I was playing with my half brother playing Clay Fighter on Sega Genesis. We had one Sega Genesis controller that had ABC XYZ, and the other one just had ABC, but it had a switch on it where if you switched it, it turned
Oh,
into
yeah.
XYZ.
What the fuck?
Right?
Yeah.
So
I
it was
thought
like
I thought you had to do was just press the start button. That's how you do it on Street Fighter.
no, this particular controller was built literally like there's a left and right switch, like an on and off switch. It was I don't know, it must have been a third party or something. Because literally like playing a fighting game like that, you're just like
He started working a board operation, like doing DJ shit and all that stuff all the time. It's like he's so used to just tabbing and going to new things.
Making
Yeah.
some weird gestures there.
I mean, he's pressing, and then you gotta like flick
No,
back.
'cause
You
you-
gotta flick back and forth. Like if you're gonna do like the Akuma combo, where you go light punch, hard kick, and then
I understand.
you're gonna go all over the place.
yeah, but in any case, the
Work
mini
them middle fingers.
the mini controller for the PS4 is fantastic. It's wired, it's only $30, feels good in my hands. You would probably really like it, Connor, because you have small hands actually.
Yeah, I found out Andrew also has small hands.
Oh yeah, he's just got chunkier hands.
Well, look at fucking same thing as you got going on with me.
Oh yeah, Look at that.
Yeah, I just got
Well,
some.
it's too
I just
far
got
all
some
over there.
sausage fingers. Like I got Johnson over here,
My-
Johnsonville.
My favorite controller ever was the Mad Catz GameCube controller, the little one.
Oh, the little one. Okay,
The
'cause
little
we just
one.
had a Mad
The ones
Catz.
that lit up too. You had that one.
I didn't have the light up one.
Did-
It was little. It has actually like rubber grips on the side and everything. It's tiny as fuck, but I really like it.
I had a Nyko one that had fans in it.
Weird.
Yeah, it was fucking dope.
I still have one of those ones. I actually traded Steve for it. I gave him an OEM one for it.
I also had a Wavebird. People didn't like the Wavebird, huh?
No, people.
No,
lo-
the
Did it?
Wavebird was
Okay.
amazing.
Yeah, I love
Wavebird
that
was
shit.
fantastic. Everyone loved Wavebird because it was a full-on wireless controller that kept the original shape of the controller. Just had the battery pack.
Basically,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, the best part
The
with the
nubs were thinner.
Wavebird is that it actually went through things. It used a different frequency.
Yeah.
Because the old
Mhm.
school wireless, you had to have that direct line of sight to play.
Mm-hmm.
With the Wavebird, you go to your toilet and start playing games. It was awesome.
Yeah, because it used radio. I think it was using 2.4 gigahertz like
Yeah.
everything else does now.
Yeah, it was first thing using 2.4 gigahertz.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I didn't even know that. It had a bunch of different like things on the dial, like
Yeah.
more than you can
it
have
had,
controllers. It had
I
like
think it had-
8, I think.
I think it was 20.
Was it 20? Fuck.
Yeah, or 16.
I
or
just remember
something
there was
that,
like
yeah.
there was a superfluous amount.
It was
probably
meant-
because of
yeah,
interference.
It was meant so that you could be in an arcade and have multiple
Oh.
people playing GameCubes.
nice.
And then it's like all 4 people could be using 4 Wavebirds on like each GameCube. So
well thought out. What were you saying, Andrew?
Oh, I've never used a Wavebird.
I wish I still had mine.
I think the
gave it
first
away.
time I used
I'll bring it by next week.
Hell
All
yeah.
right. First time I used a wireless controller is probably PS2 era. I had
yeah,
I had
one
a Game Shark wireless controller. It was a mini PS2 controller.
I think
that
I
was
had a
made by Game
Logitech.
Shark.
I think the Wavebird actually was my first wireless controller.
Same here.
Yeah.
Actually, not technically. No. My brother had a fucking Sega one.
For
It had a big ass
Genesis?
box. I think it was. What is it? Genesis?
Sega Saturn?
I think it was the Saturn. It was one of those. There's a big ass box that you sit down and it has an IR blaster.
Nice.
Nice. All right, so a thing that we have right here are gifts in front of
Anything?
everybody.
Multiple things.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Even Bernard.
Even Bernard. So I figured what we would do is go.
That
Yeah.
seems like something drinking related.
It better be.
Uh oh. Just
Ooh, it's soap.
it's soap.
It's a bobblehead.
So drinking related.
Yeah, exactly. So I figured what we could do is go in alphabetical order. So Bernard, you could open yours first, my dude.
Thank
What you
you.
got?
Yeah, no problem. This is from Cass and I. So
Oh yeah, that's why Andrew doesn't have a gift because these are from him.
Yeah, he didn't tell us that this was going on. I would have brought his gift.
As a surprise.
yes, it was.
Yes, it was a well done.
I got dancing speakers.
Dancing water
Good boy.
speaker. Oh, he's got the Villaggio on his desk now.
Wait, do I? At work, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
I'm gonna piss everybody off. I play these things loud.
All
Nice.
these fucking drop mix.
Dude, that's pretty
I'm
fucking
gonna-
cool,
It is
actually.
cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put this at my desk and I'm gonna play crappy music just to piss everybody else around me. It's gonna be awesome.
That would actually
You
be,
guys are making me the person they hate now. I'm okay with this.
Nice.
that would actually be legitimately really cool if you could hook that up to your drop mix.
Right? Just run
I'll find a way.
You might be able to. Should I just go?
should go over Bluetooth,
Yeah,
right?
go ahead, man.
Oh,
my God,
shit.
it's Jumanji. I was able to tell instantly, like from the
That was an
corner.
immediate.
I saw the rhino and I was like, "Oh damn,
That's cool.
fuck yeah!"
That was
Andrew-
my nickname in Palm Springs.
Oh yeah,
Rhino or Jumanji?
Jumanji, yeah.
Jumanji. Dude, this is dope. Yeah, Andrew knows I love board games, so
Uh-huh.
which and when you were talking about what we've been playing lately, it's been board game related, like everything that I've been doing recently.
Yeah, just recently bought Pathfinder, so we've been doing some of that.
Yeah, Pathfinder was super good. It's I like it. I'm liking it a lot. And then I just got the what do you call it? The Magic the Gathering Arena of the Planeswalkers.
Oh yeah, you found a couple of those on discount.
Yeah, they had them at Ross for $7 each.
Those big lots.
Nice.
That was Ross.
Oh,
But yeah. So you get Jumanji. Fuck yeah, dude. I was actually I saw this thing where this dude made his own Jumanji thing recently, and I was like, I want to get Jumanji. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna go out and make like a super one, but the fact that you got me now, this is awesome.
There we go. I have no idea if it's actually a good game,
right.
but
Doesn't matter. It's a game.
it's Jumanji.
At most, or at least, it will look good on a shelf.
Yeah, it does. It looks rather nice. I don't know which camera is gonna see it, but
No matter, like, yeah.
it looks cool.
However
it.
the camera is seeing it, it looks good. It's
Yeah.
a
There
good
we
looking
go.
box.
All right.
All right, I
so-
guess I'll take my
Thank
turn.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah,
very
no
much, both
problem.
of you. Oh, this is dual-sided paper. You could wrap it however you like.
Oh, this is taped heavily. I'm not gonna try to unfold it after all.
Oh, you were trying to do it nice?
Oh shit! What if?
That's why when you said that, I was just like, oh,
This Is this gonna work? No, it's not.
What? Oh, it's that.
Same thing.
Nice.
What the fuck?
Now we could play it at anyone's house because Spencer got it too. Like I told him the deal, and that's when we found the cat last night. He went and got it. So now we can like just fucking play the shit out of this.
I have a copy also.
There you go.
I'm curious, old school Magic guy. Like, what the hell is this Magic?
It's not an actual Magic game. It's a Magic board game.
Oh,
So yeah, you play as the Planeswalkers, and it's versus, right? I believe so. You can. I think there's actually a campaign where you could play together versus the box.
so no decks or anything like that.
No.
You do like flip it over because you do actually choose powers and all that stuff in a card style.
Yeah, it doesn't use Magic cards, but it looks like it's based on cards.
Yeah, I've heard there's some people who like absolutely love it, and then other people who have just been kind of. But I feel like the people who are iffy on it, they probably aren't so much board game players as they are Magic players.
That probably makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
And then like the board game players actually like it. So
Is this made by Wizards or is it just no? It's a Hasbro game.
I mean,
Or does Hasbro own them?
yeah, it's Hasbro Wizards, so it's all good.
Yeah, I mean it's cool. I did not get it there. I got it somewhere else for, yeah.
For too much, apparently.
No, maybe less. Maybe 99 cents. That's the
And I also picked up the Shadows over Innistrad.
Oh,
one.
yeah, Connor got both of those.
Oh yeah, I got that. And then I'm thinking about getting the Omnixilus, but I was like, yeah, and I was like, maybe grabbing it just so that I have all of them. You know? Did you forget a piece of tape?
Did I?
Here.
Is there one on each side?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
You could do it with this. I have a knife. You could do it with a knife.
No, this is really soft
It's
tape.
already done. But
Packing tape.
I am genuinely curious what is inside both of your boxes. Like, as cool as your
Hold that
gift
knife
is,
back up.
Bernard, like, I know if you open it, it's just like, it's a speaker.
Hey, it's the thing.
it's the thing.
it's the thing that was
Yeah.
advertised.
If everyone
I
can
mean-
open up their boxes and completely devalue what we got you, I would really appreciate that.
Because like it could. I mean, you never know. Bernard's could end up being a bag of cocaine that was smuggled into the country by accident and
Then it'd be
misplaced.
the best present ever.
Oh, cool. There's a bunch of
that is a lot of
figures for
miniatures.
the
Yeah,
monsters,
that was
for the
actually one of the
creatures.
biggest deals about that Magic set. When I saw it, I was like, dude, even if this is a bad game, this is a ton of minis.
Yeah, you could just use that in your fucking
D&D,
yeah,
Pathfinder, fucking any of that.
tiles.
I'll go and pop this open so we take a look.
I guess these are the quote unquote cards.
Oh, this is interesting. They're 8-sided dice, but they have stickers that you put on. It's like an actual Rhino mini.
That is very cool.
Holy shit! And there's like a giant board you have to piece together. Some little set pieces.
Nice.
Hey, a D20.
You got
Well,
Worth
it's a
it.
Spin down, but
you've got some writing here that's sure to piss off every colorblind person in the world.
Jesus.
What the fuck? Oh, you probably have to use one of those things.
Yeah, there's probably a little yeah, there is. It's a little decipher thing right here. I'm just gonna pull that out real quick. I cannot get this bag open. This bag was surprisingly difficult.
You're surprisingly difficult.
Ta-da! Yeah, you can.
Yeah. You solved the puzzle. You solved Jumanji. Good job. You can go home.
Jumanji. Oh, you get a little timer on here. Oh, that we can just start playing the Saw theme every time your turn starts.
That's a really fast timer. Like, if you have to take your turn in that amount of time,
Probably 1 minute. No, not even, huh?
no,
Holy
that's
shit.
like
30
20,
seconds.
30
30.
seconds at most. I would say let's time it, but I don't think that makes for good
Oh.
radio.
Well, here, I'll
So
just do
there's
it
a
on the
rhino
side.
in here. The rhino's its own thing.
What does the board look like? That's, if you open and unfold that bad boy.
This is a 10-second timer.
I really like the center.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's 10 seconds.
Yeah.
1,000, 2,000, 3, 4, 5,
Jesus.
6, 7,
Going a little
Eight.
fast.
9, 10, 11, 12,
11.
13.
All right, cool, guys. Well,
Ish.
Your
Merry,
first like 5
Merry,
were fast. I think it's around 10.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Andrew.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Thank
Andrew.
you, and Cass.
Thank you, guys.
Even if this game ends up being dog shit, thank you.
You just trying to fold it back?
Yeah, but I can't because
There
I
we go.
can't human very well.
I'm gonna apply stickers while we talk, so that way I don't accidentally
So,
ruin
like-
these stickers.
That's fair. And then, next time you want to play Jumanji, it's just like you take it out and play.
Hell yeah, dog.
I really hope that there's like a cameo somehow, like, Philip Seymour Hoffman in the new Jumanji of Robin Williams.
Hmm.
Do you think that's something they would do?
I don't know.
Or just maybe make reference?
They could do that. That would be pretty neat. But at the same, it's like, yeah, probably because they're going to be doing a lot of CG anyways. So
Right? It can't cost that much more to put in a Robin Williams, a wild Robin Williams.
One Robin Williams, please.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like World of Warcraft. One Robin Williams.
well, because it's supposed to be another adventure in it, though, isn't it?
Another adventure in Jumanji?
Yeah, it's because yeah, it's modern day. Yeah, so and he was freed from the game because they beat the game.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
exactly.
I mean, so it's not like he's going to be stuck in the world. Still. And plus, now the new Jumanji, it's like a video game.
Yeah, it
Yeah, it's a
is.
video game.
They got
But
like
so what
avatars
if,
and stuff.
like in the beginning of the movie, because they're all students, what if CG Robin Williams is their teacher?
Oh yeah, that could happen.
Or just something along those lines. I don't know. And for whatever reason, he decides to keep a video game version of Jumanji in his classroom.
I feel like if you were trapped in the game of Jumanji the way he was, you'd want that shit as far away as you as fucking possible. Spent his entire upbringing inside a jungle being hunted by some man.
What year is it? I love that movie. Though I went back and rewatched it. It still has the same heart that I thought, but I'm like, wow, those monkeys look really bad.
Oh,
Like I remember when I was younger, I thought, I'm like, man, those monkeys look so real. Like I was so impressed, and then going back now, it's kind of rough, to say the least. Early CG is just not good.
for some reason I was thinking that they were like my memory is telling me that they weren't CG, that they were like puppets and shit, like how Jurassic Park is all puppets,
Yeah.
but
So
it's not.
no,
guess,
it's
yeah.
not there.
Oh.
It's just really bad.
Oh yeah,
CG.
yeah, it was. I just remember the one screaming at like right into the camera, and it looks wonky.
Yeah, exactly. So Miguel,
What up?
back on what we were kind of talking about earlier. I know you have been playing the Monster Hunter beta, or you did play the Monster
Yeah.
Hunter beta. How did you like it? Talk about that.
I mean, I loved it. It's Monster Hunter. I never played 4, so I didn't get to toy around with the insect glaive, so that's what I did. I don't think I understood it at all. I didn't look up any like guide or anything for it, but yeah, I didn't play with it a lot. What happened over the weekend? It looks gorgeous. The game looks fucking amazing visually. And it's like, I don't know. That's kind of what I've been waiting for, is a mainline Monster Hunter game. Not mainline, but like on PS4
Console.
or Xbox, as opposed to Wii U or 3DS. And then Double Cross comes out on the Switch sometime next year as
Yes.
well.
Monster Hunter Double Cross?
Yeah.
I do not. I didn't even know that was the thing.
It's
Yeah, it's
another
coming
dope
on the
looking ass
Switch.
Monster Hunter game.
Switch game, yeah. It's been on other things before. What was it? It's a port from something. Was it? It wasn't on the Wii U. I'm not sure.
I thought it was just that we were just getting it. I thought it was already out in Japan or something.
That's what it was. Yeah, it was in Japan. Oh yeah, shit. These fucking monkeys, man.
I googled them.
Yeah, look at that.
I mean, that doesn't look
Doesn't
terrible.
look bad. Just doesn't look
Here,
like a
that's-
real life monkey.
That's live. I don't know. That looks really bad to me. Like, I understand for the time it was great because I thought it was real when I was a kid, but like, I don't know.
The practical effect of busting through the roof of the car looks worse than those monkeys, if you ask me.
Yeah, that's fair. So you
Yes.
have been playing Switch games.
Yes, I have.
I know you recently played that motorcycle game, which I don't know what it's called.
I'm trying to remember the name of it too, but it was very fun. If that's what matters.
Man, considering you couldn't remember the title, I wouldn't have guessed it.
No, I it's just because I booted it up. Like Andrew gave me the code.
Mhm.
I put the code in the thing. The thing boots it up, and it shows the little icon, and I press play. I mean, I don't. It's not like they don't title drop every single second that you're playing. So I just
Yeah, but no splash screen. No.
I booted up and started playing. And I sat down and played it for like 4 hours.
Hmm.
So it wasn't like
It's called Riptide GP Renegade.
there we go. It's super fun. Like it's like don't expect game of the year or any shit like that. Like if you go in expecting it to be like a fun arcade racer, then yeah, you're gonna have fun with it. It's kind of like God, what were those games called on PlayStation 1? Not is like Jet Moto or something like that.
Jet Moto and Wipeout.
Yeah, those ones. It's a lot like that, where you go and you're just trailing through rivers, and there's like rundown city areas. You do tricks in the air. You soup up your ride, get it faster, add boost and handling, stuff like that. Just, the basic racing sim type stuff. And then it just sets you out. You keep racing. It's basic, but it's fun. I mean, it has it all there. It didn't have any weird glitches going on that made me go like, fuck this game, I can't race, The difficulty ramp up was rather quick, though. It was like, at first it was, I was winning by like 20 seconds ahead of, second place and stuff. And then like immediately after the first chapter, which is like the first 4 races, the next 4 races are like, oh, I actually have to do some racing here or else I'll just not win. So it was fun.
I mean, it sounds good. I don't know, I don't even know how much the price is. I think that game is being sold for $15.
Well, that would be totally worth it. If it's 15, and I would very much recommend it if you just want some nice, simple, fun racing.
Did you have a chance to take a look at anything else?
Nothing else particularly yet on the Switch. I do plan on going through it, but I ended up playing that one longer than I was expecting to, because I was thinking of just booting up and like, okay, here's the game, that's what it's like. But in reality, it was like I enjoyed it and just kept playing. So,
all right. So now we're gonna switch gears to something a bit more depressing, if we're just gonna be honest. But we have a very special call-in guest. Who, go ahead and patch him on through, Bernard.
Him?
Her. I said patch him as in just like
Okay.
yeah, not him. We have Janet Burns joining us, who is a freelance writer for Forbes, among many other established websites. Fantastic. She posted a fantastic piece today regarding net neutrality. And welcome to the show, Janet.
Thanks so much. And wow, that's so kind. And I heard you, by the way. You said like apostrophe EM. I got that.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you. I'm glad you got that, because Miguel instantly was just like on me.
Yeah, last week you were slipping up. I had to keep tabs on you.
That's fair.
I appreciate it though, both of y'all. But yeah.
Yeah. So absolutely. So anyone who hasn't gotten a chance to read your piece, is there any way you can give us just like a quick lowdown on the piece that you wrote for Forbes today regarding net neutrality?
Sure. Thanks. Yeah. Well, I've been writing about net neutrality just a lot, sort of more each week, it feels like, over the past year, since right now Chairman Ajit Pai, who was appointed to be a commissioner under President Obama and then under Trump was appointed to be the head of this 5-person commissioner panel. He said from the get-go that he wanted to get these 2015 rules that really been in the works for, decades, close to, if you want to look back the history, close to a century before that, finally got put on the books. Were fairly light touch, in my opinion, I think as other people, is in 2015, and Ajit Pai has been, with backing from a lot of people feel the big telecommunications companies, sometimes you hear them called the Big Four, and also a lot of free market Republicans have had a lot of interest in getting these rules removed. And today they had their vote, and I wrote about that and about the stuff that Ajit Pai seemed to be willing to ignore along the way, and that included a lot of protests from people and yelling from people like me. So, yeah, we'll see. Got some options going ahead.
For anyone who doesn't know, who may be listening, can you explain in layman's terms what net neutrality is?
Yeah, I certainly will encourage people to look it up themselves, because it's a pretty interesting topic that a lot of smart people talking about it, and it sounds like you're a computer savvy crowd. Wired has an especially good guide up right now, I think. But yeah, the principle basically has to do with common carrier status per the Communications Act that was set down back in the 30s when telephone communication, really needed to be controlled, and had, consideration of how to be regulated to serve people who were in rural areas and, weren't able to pay high prices. These are the problems that we're still having today with the internet. And the principle of net neutrality really came about in the 2000s. In 2002, a Harvard law professor, maybe not Harvard, can look that up too, Tim Wu came up with the idea to describe controls that would make the content that comes across the internet have to be treated equally by the carriers or the ISPs. And it also would prevent them from interfering with the speed. You may have heard the term fast lanes and slow lanes, but a lot of people have had concern about content being parceled out more expensively if it's not from, say, a partner with one of the big providers, or getting a content for free from, say it's a Netflix, AT&T, or Verizon partnership. So people are probably going to want to turn to information that comes faster, but because we give a lot of alternative and scrappy companies out in the cold.
So, in your opinion, if net neutrality went through in the next few months and has started happening, what is the worst case scenario to what could happen to the internet?
Yeah. So after the vote today, and a 3-2 it was on party lines, they did vote to hold back those net neutrality rules that were set forth, and instead of being a Title II classified communications network, talk about mobile broadband and hopefully fiber networks, which will bring a lot of people into quicker access in the next 10 years if there's investment in it. It'll just make it a Title I, and in that case, companies will effectively have the right, starting next year, pending a couple of legal battles that could come up, would have the right to slow down or speed up content based on their positions about it. And we know that, a lot of big companies along the line have taken stances in communications and otherwise, whether it's about Planned Parenthood or about sports protests. They will, and online as well, certain commercials have been throttled or certain platforms won't support each other. So companies will be able to do this again like they did before 2015 and kind of have gotten away with since. And without net neutrality protections, we're not able to keep those on the books. Also, we could see, censorship and just prices rising for consumers, and also prices on platform and basically data from internet companies and small businesses having a higher rate. But time will tell, and hopefully we'll be able to gain a little bit of ground and make a little more noise.
Right. Yeah, you mentioned censorship of the internet. I think that really hits home with us being chaotic radio. We're kind of an uncensored, chaotic internet radio station. So I think it's only fitting that we have this whole segment here tonight, especially considering the vote, the repealment. What's the word there? The repeal going through.
It was a repeal was the word I was using. I don't think that's the proper legal term, but yeah, they just voted to strip those regulations away. Yeah,
and it's crazy.
Indeed.
It's crazy to think, because I've never in my time have seen something so widely not wanted. Like, I saw a statistic earlier that 98.5% of Americans don't want net neutrality
to end.
Yeah, exactly. Or don't want net neutrality to end. Thank you.
That's what
exactly. Yeah. It's
that's
it's
crazy.
a confusing issue, and I didn't give a great definition going in. it's an exciting and very boring topic, you know, on
Yeah.
the number of facts you gotta remember. But yeah, the numbers that I've been seeing are closer to, I think the last big poll was 83% of all Americans. It was, I think, 76% of Republicans, and then I think independents, you know, 77, Democrats 80 or something like that. But these polls have been performed over the past year and in the 5 years prior to that, and reaching back, and people who, you know, are not, you know, within the top realms of big corporations. And, you know, we're in a pretty, at least on the internet, you know, a duopoly, if not, you know, some sort of new hybrid, you know, trying to think of like a particularly creepy Greek creature, but, you know, one of those monopolies, yeah, it could be trouble. But yeah, people have spoken out about this, and the protests have been fun. There's been really cool people turning out across the country. I saw a lot of wonderful Twitter pictures, and here in New York, I went down to 42nd Street, so it's a couple blocks from Times Square. It's right by Bryant Park, and there's this Verizon store, and across the street is a T-Mobile big digital billboard. So we were just lit up in pink in front of this Verizon store. It was a couple hundred people. And I realized after the fact we probably should have turned our signs, or, you know, I was trying to cover it and hang out, turned our signs towards where the cars were and not just like screamed directly at the building. But it was cool. There was a kid with digital glasses, and yeah, people definitely seem amped up about it.
Yeah, caught a glimpse of that. I was thumbing through your articles. I actually read through the one from today. It was a good article. It was really informative. Kind of a, I don't want to say an expose, but just calling out that shithead.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, for sure.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Absolutely. You know, you were on the short list of writers I contacted immediately to get on the show. You know, I probably only messaged you and one other person, and when you said yes, I was so happy that you were going to come onto the show.
Thank you so much.
So we are the Kinda Gaming show. So how does net neutrality affect us gamers?
It's a great question, and one I've been excited to tackle. Although my personal gaming history, with very few exceptions, kind of stopped. You know, I still have like an N64 and under, but
Your
but-
rule.
thanks so much. But there is, you know, we do have some online games in the house. You know, I've played some later Halos, but more importantly, because, you know, the internet has been so integral to the evolution and community and innovation and all the buzzwords, but like really truly so much of gaming, I think anything that is going to let companies raise prices more, you know, according to what they want to. You know, Verizon just sort of quietly is really not giving a shit, I guess.
Yeah.
Fair enough. A month or two ago, like, offered a $10 we won't throttle your video fee that people can choose. So, you know, as I said, I don't play a lot of, you know, really graphic demanding games on my crappy computer, but I imagine if someone does, then, you know, to begin with,
Well,
that
here's how
bandwidth.
here's how it look,
Go ahead.
guys. I'm the guy in the booth. If net neutrality is gone, what they can offer you now is a special $15.99 a month price for you to game online.
Yeah.
If you want, and then $5 more for multiplayer. And if you want to make sure you have no lag, make it $5 more on top of that. So
Yeah.
they can offer packages
Totally.
for you to play your game like you're supposed to regularly. So they can, and then if you want to really get down to it, they might have a special Steam package where you go allowed to download only 50 gigs a month, and
Jesus.
that's the games you can get. That's the problem with net neutrality, or not having net neutrality, is that the companies are allowed to choose what you get to do with internet.
Right.
instead of it being a free flowing communication between two people.
Yeah, and they could make it based
sure.
on like for gamers, they could make it based on system. It's like you buy the Xbox package and you can no longer play PlayStation or Steam
Right.
without paying more.
Exactly. So like if
Absolutely.
Comcast is behind Microsoft, then and then they will bottleneck the Sony system because they are not a part of their shareholding.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. It's a big issue that hits pretty much everybody, whether or not you just use the internet casually, like if you want to go on social medias, just email, like they could charge for everything, and it's a huge problem that not many people know about. My day-to-day job, as people here in the room know, is I'm a legal videographer, so I work with lawyers all the time. And when I heard earlier,
cool.
when I was working, I saw that the vote went through, and the way that it did, I said something, and the lawyers had no idea what I was talking about.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And
you're kidding.
they are literally the ones like, and they're in the law, and they had I had to explain it, and they're just like, what? This is not good.
Yeah, it's been a very confusing thing, and I think a big problem too is a lot of people, they hear the word net neutrality and how it's being tossed around a lot right now, and many of them think that this is the new thing. They're like, well, why do we need net neutrality? We've had the internet all the time. It's like, wait, no, you've had net neutrality. That's the problem, and they're getting rid of it. And there's a lot of like miscommunication going on that people like, because a lot of people, they just kind of go about their lives uninformed and don't care, and it's I think that's a big reason why it's just rolled through the way it has. Because if you read through some of the comment chains, there's quite
Don't do that.
yeah, you'll feel bad about the world and stuff on many comment chains, but it's very surprising to see how many people think that net neutrality is a new thing that's trying to be started rather than being taken away.
Here's what's going to happen, and this is the first thing that's going to make the biggest change. All of a sudden, you're going to have your internet bill, and you're going to have a Facebook fee. When you see that Facebook fee, I promise you, everybody who voted yes will be out of office for that alone, because the world runs on Facebook for some stupid reason, and if they can make money off it, they will. And as soon as somebody says I got to pay $5 to go on Facebook, then I'm not doing this anymore. Who do I got to call and get out of office? This is the stupidest thing those people have done to themselves. Honestly, you're gonna make a lot of money in a real short amount of time and ruin all credibility with yourself and anything else from here on out. But I hope it's a whole bunch of money so you don't have to be in the country anymore. That's what I'm hoping for.
Exactly. So, Janet, where can somebody go? I mean, obviously, you wrote a great article today about it, but if someone wanted to learn more about it, where could they go? And on top of that, what avenues can someone take to help fight for net neutrality?
Totally. Well, there's an organization called Fight for the Future that has really been taking the lead on this, and it's affiliated with a group called Team Internet that is just coming up now. You can easily Google these. Shout out to the big company, whatever. Yeah, and they are looking for volunteers right now. I did some just remote stuff with them last week. I participated in this kind of mind-blowing, I don't know, I have no idea, many thousands of people group call, and at the end they unmuted everyone's mics, and it was just minutes of yelling. It was very cool. But they're looking for people, and even to your point about how it affects gamers, you can look at the different ways and pick which one you want to bring up to your congresspeople, which you can do through freepress.org or Fight for the Future or Battle for the Net or Team Internet. If you want to reach out to them about the money issue. I mean, also, I noticed a great thing about the gaming industry is it seems like there aren't that many big conglomerates. There aren't just 2 or 3 big companies. I know there are some, huge leading ones, but still, from all around the world, there's, a number of different companies of a moderate size that provide these games that are huge, and they could get crowded out. So if that's something you want to bring up, that's cool. Also, the censorship issue, that ACLU is immediately getting involved in the legal fight to either through a congressional act or through lawsuits filed by attorneys general in, I think, 15 different states, attack them on that front, because that in a few years, you know, Wolfenstein, you know, shooting Nazis, like maybe they're not going to allow that. And, you know, we certainly want to still have access. So there's a bunch of different ways you can get involved. But in terms of sending in comments, I will note that there was a big snafu in the past few weeks. You might have heard about that, that there were bot comments filed. Understandably, I think at least 1 million of those filed. In total, there were 22 million comments filed, and a little less than 9 were wanting to repeal, and a lot of these are form letters. So the remainder were in favor of keeping the rules. But now it's coming out that a lot of those, possibly some on the keep the rules side, but it seems from one researcher I talked to a lot on the, you know, get rid of the rules, open up to the free market kind of mystique. We're stealing people's identities. So, you know, it's a good time to think about how do you want to push the Senate and the Congress to, you know, do their job and represent what people want.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of avenues.
I think
Yeah.
Another just curious thing about this too is because that they can choose what gets pushed out and what gets used by people, is in the big picture of things, they could also censor, you know, information as well, possibly leading down the whole like 1984 scenario where we like
100%.
the population only sees what the government wants us to see.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
This
And we kind of are already there a little bit. Sorry to interrupt you. It's like,
Oh, no,
you know,
no worries.
these rules they weren't strong enough. And we've learned over the past few years that if people aren't keeping a really close eye on these companies, they'll, you know, get away with what they can because they exist to make money and not to like do right by us. Sorry, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was just gonna basically what you said there and added to it, and that it's kind of to the point where it's like it's the slow churns of what could possibly be the worst possible scenario for the country. Just the beginnings of, I guess, the end, if you want to say it that
Bit of
way.
a nightmare scape.
Exactly. It's not one of those things that, you know, a lot of people who are researching net neutrality, it's not like we're going to wake up tomorrow and it's going to be the internet apocalypse. It's going to slowly integrate itself and start happening to where
there's
people won't even notice.
There's a period before the
Well, I
repeal
know.
goes into effect.
You know what I
anyway
mean,
as
though.
well.
Like when it actually starts
Yeah.
happening, if it doesn't get repealed, or if it.
It will be repealed.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This terminology,
This
man.
this phrasing needs to be
know, I
clarified, man.
understand
Net
that.
neutrality is a good
It's a
thing.
thing that we have.
We want
net
we
neutrality.
want the repeal to not go
The
through.
repeal has to not go through. Yes.
Exactly.
You know what helped me like finally get it straight? And even in this phone call, I like was tripping over my words. It's it's, you know, happy hour-ish time in New York. Thinking of the phrase net neutrality rules, because that's what
'Cause
they
they're
were.
rules.
They were rules about making the net neutral, and we wanted to keep the net neutrality rules that we had. Like, I don't know.
No, that's a good
I've
one.
never tried to. Yeah. So now that I've said it a few times, maybe you'll remember, maybe not. But yeah.
I
Yeah.
will definitely keep that in mind because, you know,
I like that mnemonic.
exactly. All right, so we only have a few minutes ish, maybe about 5 to 7 minutes till we go on break. So Janet, before you go, where can people follow you or read your work and all of that kind of things?
Oh, cool. Thanks. And by the way, yeah, thanks again for having me. I've never done one of these before. It was fun.
Oh, thanks for coming on. I saw you run a podcast,
Yeah.
right? Same thing.
Oh, yeah, I did that one. Oh, I guess I should plug that here. And it will explain my behavior on the show. It's called The Toke. It is a cannabis news podcast and culture. And I, you know, earlier in the day would have, you know, done so better. But Ren, I really am quite in good trim on that topic and others. And it's, yeah, and internet security and, you know, digital parity and solutions thereof are going to be really critical. And I also frankly think that cannabis has a pretty critical role if we're going to get our shit together in the coming decades. And I talk about those things for Forbes Tech. I'm a freelance contributor there. If you type in Janet Burns at this point, I think I'm the first person. I'm also on Twitter at Warmly Burns. Oh, and I tweeted at you guys
Oh, thank you.
before I
Saw
came
that.
on.
Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, totally. I was stoked that I got to catch the behind the scenes dead air conversation for a little bit.
Oh, you
Like I
did.
got to know you a
Nice.
little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, we shut that off, and I was like, maybe we should have kept that going. The pre-show.
No, we shouldn't.
Aw.
So it was how I knew Bernard was going to be the expert. Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, he has
I
he
wouldn't
has
say
all the
that.
control behind. He has it all sitting there in front of him, and we're sitting here with mics and a desk.
I'm a know-it-all.
I was gonna say, I
That's
think
about
he's
it.
just a well-informed guy.
Yeah.
Is what she was getting at.
Oh. Well, I'll give you my official ratings on your knowledge later, but yeah, for sure.
All right. So thank you so much for coming on again. If you want to get in contact or follow Janet, you can on Twitter under Warmly Burns. You can follow her on Forbes. She has her own website. A bunch of really cool things along with her own podcast. And we really want to say thank you for coming on this evening and not only informing us as someone who is more of an expert on everything, but informing our audience. So thank you very much, Janet.
Yes, thank you so much. Take care, guys.
You too.
Me too.
Thank you so much.
Excellent. Excellent. Excellent.
So that was cool.
Yeah,
wa-
Good stuff,
it's
yeah.
an important issue. I'm glad you got somebody like you hopped on to get a guest for that today.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, in the last few, probably 2 months or so, we've been doing a lot of these top fives, which we are going to continue doing in the second half of the show, doing a top 5 GameCube show. But this was a very important subject that not only affects us as gamers, but literally affects us right now
the
here at
show,
the
yeah.
studio. And it was important not only for us as individuals, but as a station, and to get someone on like Janet, who obviously knows her shit.
Mhm.
It was very important. I know I've used that word a few times now, but it's
Well, I mean, it's important.
It's the word to use. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why be complicated in what you have to say when you can simply say something?
net neutrality could learn something from that.
What?
The way you just said that, like, why be complicated instead of just saying exactly what you
Well,
mean?
Well, yeah. Well, net neutrality in itself, that's a phrase that is the good thing. 'Cause-
No, here's what Charlie have to say. You have to pay for porn again.
yeah.
That's it.
Tell that to everyone, and then yeah,
you would
get
have to
rolling.
pay for porn again. Can you imagine how people would be rioting for that reason alone?
Yeah, they go and they
Oh.
they press P, enter, and they're like, wait, what?
Yeah, yeah. See,
Fucking Pinterest.
it's a crappy thing that happened, and I'm thanking goodness that this is going to be a slow burn.
Mm-hmm.
And with this slow burn we're going to have is a lot of people finding out what really happened. Like you said, Andrew, the lawyers you're dealing with, they don't know what's happening. A lot of people don't understand who don't dwell on the internet like we do. I mean,
Yeah.
so we had it everywhere. If you're on Reddit went berserk
Oh yeah.
for the
Still
past
is
3
huge.
weeks, and it's still going to keep going berserk for this reason. And it's a really good fight to have. But when it starts hitting people who need to see their Facebook, or people who need to find their Pinterest, or people who need to do this stuff, and all of a sudden they find out, why is my phone bill have another $5 fee so I can look at Facebook all the time?
Right.
Why does my phone have another $10 fee so I can listen to Spotify?
Mm-hmm.
I thought I already paid for that already.
Right.
That's when you're going to start seeing people figure out, oh, this is a bad thing. So the way I would suggest we do this is explain to people that it's not. This is the reason why you don't have to pay extra to do what you do on the internet.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
And you nailed it. You hit that nail on the proverbial head. It's literally something that people won't notice until it's starting to get too late. And it's something that needs to be talked about in all circles. I remember the first time I heard about this issue years ago for SOPA was because of Total Biscuit. He's a very big advocate for net neutrality, along with all
Thank
the
you.
other YouTubers should be.
Mhm.
Like, anybody who makes a living on the internet should be freaking the fuck out right now.
Mm-hmm. I think it's in general, like just free information, everything like that.
Mhm.
Because with it gone, they are able to censor whatever they want.
Exactly. How are we supposed to write college papers now?
Yeah,
If we can't get
well, see-
access to the fucking
Well, back
information.
in my day,
Oh, well.
Yeah, well, you could still go to libraries and stuff, but like, I mean, a bigger picture is like people will still be able to write papers, but I mean, if say Verizon has a slant on how they want to do things, anyone who has Verizon might only see a certain avenue of thought. You know, so then everything that they research, everything that they are looking up on a matter, ends up bending towards Verizon's thoughts and direction. So you end up getting a slant on opinion on a grand scale. So it's a method of control in the end.
Well, you can't really say that. It's more along. It's a governor on your car. That that you can still find certain things, but Verizon will be able to say, "Hey, you only can use Netflix for 3 hours," so they can govern your speed. So net neutrality isn't a matter of you can block people sometimes, but they're not going to let that happen. They're just going to make it so it's crap to use. So remember when you were using the internet when you had like a 2600 baud modem? Wait, that's just me. I'm old. But when internet back when it was really, really slow, is what they can do to it. And that, in my personal opinion, and what I'm noticing right now is that if you have internet that's really, really slow, you just stop using it. You don't go back after we have the speed we have now. We don't have the patience to go through and use slow internet. So Verizon will be able to say, we don't want you looking at this. We'll slow it down to a creep. We'll slow it down so you don't get the information you want as quick as you want. You're just going to sit there and wait 10 minutes for the download. They can't sit there and say, well, they can sit there and probably say, hey, you won't be able to see this site for this time to this time. But they can't push you to say, well, actually, they probably could. They can build it in there and say, hey, if you want to see real information, click here, and it goes to the Verizon thing, and it goes faster.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's a horrible future, but...
Nah, this is a great future, guys.
Yeah,
Quit being nihilist. This is what's going to happen.
Go ahead.
You and your generation are going to rise up together and be the most politically charged generation ever. And it's going to be great. We're going to have, instead of being voting rolls of maybe 20 to 30%, we're going to be 50 to 60% people voting and making changes out there. This is what's happening, and it's going to be amazing.
I was actually kind of thinking that too. I was thinking it's really good to see so many people aware of this issue, because people on Facebook are like, they'll be like, I don't want to say like fucking tinfoil hat kind of people. They're like, people don't care about the real issues. This happened, but nobody said anything. It's like when shit really comes down to it, people know.
Yeah.
Yep. But in better news, in your immediate future, we're going to be going to a much brighter subject in the second half. Top 5 GameCube games. We're going to be taking a quick break, and we will see all of you on the other side.
Shut up! Sorry. From the top.
I was trying to get that part to play for the exit. I just forgot it took that long to get in.
How much time do we got?
Oh, you got 3 minutes. You want more?
Yeah, give us 4.
Okay.
Thanks, man.
Great show so far.
Play a good amount of GameCube?
Yeah, I owned one of those back in the day. Played the shit out of it when actually, the reason why I know so much about that is that's when I was selling video games back in the day. I was selling them at Game Crazy, so I have an intimate knowledge of all of this. But I got 7 on my GameCube list. Yeah, 2. Well, actually 8 on my GameCube list. Because Mario Party is honorable mention no matter what, because it's the best drinking game ever.
I need to try that. I've never even done it as a drinking game.
Oh my god, you don't know what you're missing. Yeah, right? Oh, dude, drunken. Okay, you.
Dude, oh my god, though, I'm shit at those mini games to begin with. Though.
Well, but okay, so the winner has to take a drink.
Oh.
So now you start evening it out. Remember they had the whole one N64 and you had to rotate it?
That, yeah.
I had a friend who got so drunk she actually put a hole in her hand from trying to play it so hard.
Shit, from being drunk.
Yeah. It was great. Mario Party is the best drinking game ever. Yeah, go ahead. I'll turn it on and put it back on for you.
I don't know if it works. I'm sorry if it doesn't.
Yeah, no, we'll get another one.
I think you gotta put water in it. I don't know where to put the water at.
Water. Is there instructions?
Nope. But it's made in China. I'm sure somebody will figure it out.
Play your music louder to enjoy the dancing water. Speaker must be connected.
Like the
Pretty
lights,
sure.
at least.
Enjoy light show with the music. Compatible with all music playing devices. Mini USB.
Yeah, I don't know where to put the water at.
They left that part out.
Should have some instructions.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
It's just like screw off.
No.
Well-
No.
Well, the lights are pretty.
Yes, they are. Y'all got a minute 30.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for this. Hey guys, 45 seconds.
When the normal BS just won't do. ChaoticRadio.com.
Welcome back to the Kinda Gaming Show. What's up?
Connor was muted.
Oh,
There you go.
There we go.
whoops. I thought you were 5 or 4 instead of 5.
Yeah, I was like, I am 5.
I'm 5, and what is
why?
this?
Why is 5 right next to 1?
Because it goes that way. It goes
It was
counterclockwise.
anti-clockwise.
Anti-clockwise?
He fucking...
What about it?
Anti-clockwise.
No, anti-clockwise. It's a normal phrase.
For Brits, probably.
Either way.
Colure.
Counterclockwise.
Thank you. Counterclockwise. Not anti.
I'm gonna slap your shit.
Anti-clockwise.
The fucking
Anti-clockwise.
I'm gonna slap your shit. The fucking gnome.
Oh, yeah. How about I slap your shit? I fucking love that picture.
All right. So in the second half, we're going to be counting down our top 5 GameCube games.
Wow, he's that.
How did you all like the GameCube?
I fucking loved it.
I played the fuck out of it, but I'm finding out I only played a few games.
I played the shit out of a lot of games for the game. Like GameCube was my fucking system,
See,
man.
that's been pretty consistent with you, Miguel. Most consoles, you're like, I played the fuck out of this. Out of like 6 games.
I played the fuck out of 4 games
Right?
on
Yeah.
a top 5 list.
What about you, Bernard? Did you were you a GameCube guy?
Oh, I was telling Miguel on the break. During this time of gaming is when I was working at the video game store. So I played GameCube, PlayStation 2, Xbox.
Nice.
I have a very, very deep knowledge of all 3 of these systems besides selling the games. I played a lot of them.
Mhm.
I thought the GameCube was great, and the best thing about the GameCube, they're indestructible.
Oh yeah,
There's a whole video back in the
from
day,
X-Play.
X-Play, where they beat the crap out of a GameCube, drove it behind a car,
Hit it with a sledgehammer.
and it still played.
Yeah,
They are indestructible.
it was gnarly. Yeah, like they did all three of the systems there, and PS2 broke instantly, and then Xbox broke. I think after the ladder drop,
Yeah.
and then GameCube continued on for like 5 more things, and it still wasn't broken at the end of the test. Like the worst problem that happened was they couldn't keep the lid down anymore, so they
put
just
a brick
taped-
on top of it, right?
Yeah, they put the hammer itself on top of it while it was playing. There's a
And
10-pound
it was
sledge.
fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it worked just fine.
All right, so let's go ahead and get this started with our number 5
Or honorable mentions. It's just
or honorable
those-
mentions. That's true. I
a
guess.
table of honorable mentions. Just throw them out there. I mean, I've got a little.
My
set.
honorable mention, I got X-Men Legends, because that's actually a really,
Fantastic
really
game.
cool game.
Super fun.
And Mario Party. Any Mario Party.
Yeah.
The reason why, because 4 players, Mario Party, schnapps, that's the best drinking game ever.
Yeah,
You
mentioned
get
that to
you
me.
get your friends together and play Mario Party. Everybody wants to play like, Mario Kart because you want to see who's fastest. No, Mario Party, because every mini game, the
You just
person
keep
who
going.
wins takes a drink.
Yep.
So guess what? The person who gets really, really good will not be really, really good in a couple of wins.
You know, speaking
This,
about
this is a perfect evening out.
speaking about drinking games, and you just mentioned Mario Kart. I love the drinking game of you have to finish your drink before the end of the race, but you cannot drink while driving.
I can't wait to play that.
So it's so much fun. Like you either like some people they just shotgun it at the start of the game, so before you start going, you just chug it down, or you race through as much as you can without anyone behind you and whatnot, and then stop at the very end, drink your beer or liquor or whatever you want, and then cross the finish line. Hopefully, no one comes up to you as you're chilling.
Mm-hmm.
So
fun.
speaking of that, one of my honorable mentions is Double Dash. I'm gonna
Yeah.
say Double Dash, Luigi's Mansion,
Both fantastic.
both very good. And probably MVP Baseball 05 because I played baseball on every system possible.
Mhm.
That was the last MVP Baseball before they lost the license to Sony,
Oh,
which is why MVP Baseball 06 and 07 were college games. Then it was MLB The Show, starting with 06. And quick little fun fact, which I love about 06, which none of you guys could probably care about, but it's the only game that has Vince Scully doing the play-by-play in it.
I love that. What do
That's
you mean?
cool.
What do you don't care about?
Oh, yeah. Well, so normally after 06 and going from 07 on, they did Matt Vasgersian was doing the all-the-time play-by-play. But in 06, they had Vince Scully doing everything, and it's
That-
fantastic.
I need to buy that and play it for that
just
alone.
for that. Yeah, that makes it worth
That-
having just for that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you get all the cool MLB The Show, though granted not as polished as it is now, but better than anything else with Vince Scully. It's great. It has Vince Scully as the main guy and Matt Vasgersian as like the backup, play-by-play. It's the best commentary team probably in a baseball game, period.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Vince Scully.
Yeah, Vince Scully.
The
all you
Vince
need.
Scully, yeah.
Exactly. There's a reason why there's Vince Scully and then literally everybody else when it comes to broadcasting. But in any case, those are my honorable mentions. You got any, Conman?
Yeah, I've got a chunk of them because this system, like I said, I played the living fuck out of. I tried to keep it concise though. So my honorable mentions: The Sims, which was really cool on for GameCube because it was the first time
It's
The
a
Sims came on the console.
dollhouse.
It was the first time it came on the console. It was also the first time that The Sims was in 3D
You played with dolls.
and not just isometric. I liked it for the architecture purposes of it. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with dolls. Anyways, Star Wars
That
Rebel
sounded
Strike,
almost
Rogue
believable.
Squadron. Star Wars Rebel Strike, Rogue Squadron. That was an honorable mention for me. I loved that game. It was fantastic. Resident Evil 4. I didn't keep it on as a top 5 just because I mostly played it on the Wii later, and it was also on PS2. So it's like
Yeah, but it was a GameCube exclusive
It's a
first.
GameCube
for like a
exclusive,
year.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it didn't sell on GameCube. GameCube didn't sell at all.
yeah, game. It's
GameCube sold like Wii U sold.
it was better than that at least.
I don't
Yeah.
think so. I think it's only 20 million units
I
sold.
will
There's
look it
only
up.
13.5 million of the Wii U. So,
Okay, I was
but
wrong.
Super Mario Sunshine is another honorable mention. I did not put it on the list, but it's a fantastic Mario game. And yeah, I mean, some people, it was in that weird era where everyone fucking hated Nintendo. So a lot of people always disregard Sunshine as being a whatever.
Okay, here's the problem. I don't want to say, again, I grew up and lived during the time when it wasn't a matter of hating Nintendo. It was a matter that other games finally got mature. So when you have people who started playing video games like Mario and Zelda when they're like 10 or 15, And all of a sudden, they start seeing you can do mature things with games
Grand
later
Theft
on.
Auto 3 came out. Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto came out, and Mafia, all these type of things came out where they now say, this is more representative of what my life is, not sunshine, lollipops, and mushrooms. So
yeah. I mean, Sunshine Lollipops and Mushrooms sounds like a pretty
that's
normal
the best weekend
20-year-old
at
thing.
EDC I ever had in my life.
All right. Miguel, you got honorable mentions up in this?
I think Ty the Tasmanian Tiger.
Oh, that's cool.
That was a fun one. Yeah, you know, it was an adventure game where you play as a fucking tiger, and he's got a Tasmanian tiger, and he's got a boomerang, and you collect shit. It was fun.
Good stuff.
That's it.
Okay, guys, before we start, I'll do this for you.
That was great.
Did you know all the
Perfect.
secret intros?
If you hold down with the buttons and
Yeah,
stuff.
if you hold Z or have the controller port into 4 and nothing else, they've got several of them. Like one of them is like kind of like Donkey Kong. It's like through it, and then there's the squeaky one. It sounds like not a rubber ducky, but like a play mallet. Got a couple of them. There was a fourth one too that I can't remember right now. But
I remember if you put all 4 controllers in and have them hold Z, there's the one that goes GameCube.
yeah, okay.
Whoa,
the creepy
God.
fucking one. Yeah, here's a squeaky one.
GameCube,
As if
Forgot about that
we were just talking about how it's a childish system.
right? There's the other
Oh,
one.
I never heard that one.
Is that one? And there's the
Doom.
so yeah, there's another one that I didn't mention. That's if
All
you,
right.
that's if your shit failed.
So, why don't you kick us on off, Miguel?
Oh fuck. Okay.
Michelle. Oh, you were like looking at Bernard.
Mine was honorably mentioned. It's a Mario Kart Double Dash. It's the only Mario Kart I think I've ever enjoyed. Usually they just induce a rage in me that I cannot.
He gets very agnery when we play Mario Kart. He refused to play Mario Kart actually when we were hanging out for the Super Nintendo Classic in front of Walmart. I was like, hey, I have Mario Kart. We could both play. And he's like, I don't want to fucking hate myself.
Why do you like? Why do you rage? At it?
It's bullshit. I don't enjoy that gameplay.
Is it just the rubber band? Rubber banding?
rubber banding?
Oh, you've never heard that expression before?
I have, but how is there rubber banding in Mario
Oh
Kart?
no, you're thinking of technical rubber banding.
Right.
He's meaning the gameplay, as in like you're front and then you're in last and you're
Yeah,
front
rubber
again, then you're
banding
last.
is used a lot in
Oh.
racing games. Like if you're like everyone will slow down while you're catching up to first, and then as soon as you get in first, they will start speeding up.
Yeah, that and like just like the items are all bullshit. I fucking hate it.
The
Blue shells.
the phrase has been changed for racing games because rubber banding is a technical term, so they just say catch up now.
That's
in,
just-
in any
I-
other games, rubber
I
banding
will
is
just use rubber banding forever because that's just what I learned.
No, it's
I
just that
guess.
rubber banding's become the widely used term for lag.
not lag. It's
but
when it's a lag where you move
yeah,
and then immediately
and then
get
you keep
rubber
teleporting back
banded
to where you
back
are.
to where you just were.
Like when you open
So-
a door in a game and then it's like, I opened the door, you ran through the house, and then suddenly you're back outside and the door is closed. It happens a lot in PUBG.
Seems like slingshot would be a better term for that. Like you move a little bit and then just bah.
well, no, you come back.
I mean, it's the same
Oh,
thing.
okay.
Rubber
Well-
banding.
Slingshot would throw you forward.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, so
Yeah.
double dash.
Double dash.
Yeah, double dash. It was pretty fun. Just because I don't know the mix of the racers and like the tracks were really like
Tracks are pretty good. They're,
Yeah,
they opened a lot of avenues with Double Dash because they broke the limitations of the N64, and now you actually have the 3D models for one, rather than the what is it? It's
the
kind of
planes.
yeah, like the 3D plane sprites and stuff, kind of like
Mhm.
the Doom style. But now you had way faster gameplay than it was on the N64
Mhm.
and on Super Nintendo, obviously. And you also had, the two-player aspect, which they have not reintroduced since. And a lot of people are wanting that because it really mixes the game up
Yeah, that was
compared
another
to
thing.
just being a normal race.
I played it with a buddy and we weren't racing each other. We were just like
Together,
cooperative.
yeah.
yeah.
So
But it's surprising because you would think the person using the items wouldn't be having fun, but it actually is fun.
It's pretty fun.
All right, Bernard, what's your number 5, man?
My number 5 is a tie, only because this game's found on all other systems at this generation. These two games. Number 1 is Robotech Battlecry, and 5A Robotech Battlecry, 5B Capcom versus SNK2 EO.
Ah.
nice.
I love Capcom versus SNK too.
Hey, that's the one where we finally get Eagle, the guy who plays with the Screaming Sticks, and Robotech Battle Cry. If you guys never seen Robotech, probably before your time.
I owned that
Seen
game on
Robotech.
Xbox, and
Awesome,
I did
right?
the original Xbox. I didn't like it. I actually
Really?
gave it to my choir teacher because he was really into Robotech.
Yeah, because same generation. That's why. And the fact that you can run around and play as Rick Hunter and shoot Zentradi and things like that, that was just me reliving elementary school over and over again playing Robotech. And the Capcom vs. SNK 2 EO is cool. The only thing that's a problem with the GameCube is the controller sucks for fighting games. Unless you're playing Smash, and I hate Smash. but
That's
the
fair.
Capcom vs. SK2 was nice to see a legit fighter, not balanced, with a legit fighter on the system. So there you go.
Yep, there we go, man. All right, so my number 5, not a surprise because one of these types of games always ends up on my list, but NFL Street.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Dude,
That
I
one's
was thinking
fucking
that
good.
too, but that's one of the ones that go on all other systems.
I like
Hey, man.
NBA Street more, but
Yeah, I mean, NFL Street is one of the few sports games that me and my friend Ryan played. Ryan's not a sports guy at all, but we would play that for hours. It's like kind of like my same argument I made for the Dreamcast and NFL Blitz, but on Street, but like taken up to 10.
Mm-hmm.
I would say 9. Blitz the League is taking that up to 10, but NFL Street has everything you want in it. Really good gameplay, really over-the-top animations, great soundtrack. Being able to create your own team, which I miss in sports games nowadays. You can't create a team anymore.
It seems really weird that they got rid of that. Like there was a feature that was in all of those early games, and then as the 10s rolled around, they're just like, we're only going with official rosters. And
Yeah, I never understood that. I only ever played NFL Street 1. I didn't play 2. Ryan told me this story, and one of the best stories I've ever heard. He was playing with his little cousin. I should say gaming-related stories. And he was beating him so bad. He was so good at NFL Street, right? So then he turns the GameCube controller upside down and continues to play and still kicks his ass for the rest of the entire time. And Ryan,
good
to
lord.
this day, does not know how he did it. And they played an entire game after that with the controller upside down.
yeah.
He still won.
Wow.
Like, completely dominated him.
skills.
Exactly. Like, people aren't that good at games anymore. I mean, it's true they are, but yeah. Connor, 5.
Number 5, Super Smash Brothers Melee, and yeah, I really enjoyed that one because to me it's when it comes to mechanical competitiveness, Melee is the best on that front. Brawl, I think, was a bit more open to the casual player and had a lot of weird gimmicks that don't make sense in a competitive sense.
Right. Why would you ever want
have-
tripping?
Yeah, the random initiated tripping was a weird thing in Brawl. And then it sped the game up from the original N64 version, which had its issues. It was a fun start to the series, but Melee really was a refined vision of it. And I do like Smash Bros. On Wii U and on 3DS, but the community on Wii U is very small. And then the 3DS version is good. I definitely really like the 3DS version. It's just that Melee's speed definitely gives it more of an edge when it comes to playing a fighting game versus they seem like they've gone the floaty route in the newer one.
Melee for me was never a game I enjoyed playing. Like, all my friends, they would be, let's play Melee. And I'm like, all right. But, like, in my stomach, I'm literally like, I'm not having fun right now.
Yeah, but you love Brawl. Yeah, that's.
I love Brawl. It's my favorite. And I know he's not here, but it's Brandon's favorite also. I can objectively see it's obviously a fantastic game. It just does not bring me any happiness to play it.
One of my issues with Brawl also is the relatively large amount of clone characters, where it's you have Fox, Falco, Wolf that are just all three the same. And
I
then
would argue Wolf isn't that close.
Wolf, yeah, he does have his upward attack, and but I mean, like they do have their differences. I mean,
No,
I'm not gonna say
Falco
they're
and Fox are definitely clones, but
yeah.
Wolf
Well, I mean,
has
Falco's,
a different set.
Falco is still in Melee, but it wasn't just those three. It was just that they did that several times over in Brawl, like with the Fire Emblem characters.
Oh,
and
you
then-
mean like how in Melee there's Mario and Dr. Mario?
Yeah, it's like Dr. Mario.
They have
he ends
different
up-
moves.
Yeah, they have a totally different move set. So
Oh, okay. Well, I was
It
just
is
I was
Mario,
just
but-
shot down.
yeah. Like he completely doesn't do the exact same thing. So, but it's fun either way.
All right, Miguel,
What the fuck am I thinking again?
you're number 4.
Oh yeah, so what the fuck was it? Oh yeah, it's
Oh.
Luigi's Mansion.
Number 4.
Yeah, I played the shit out of some Luigi's Mansion. I think I don't think I ever beat King Boo, but
Oh, really?
yeah. But up until that point, I loved that game. Like,
Yeah, it's a great game. It's very short. It was my only gripe on Luigi's Mansion.
it is pretty short.
Yeah, I mean, because it was essentially a tech demo. Is how when it was made. It was made for like displaying the graphical capabilities of the GameCube.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the long-lasting hallmarks of that game is the shading and the shadows, the lighting, and all that stuff. They were using pretty advanced techniques for the time,
Mhm.
so it holds up when you just go to play it now. It's like, hey, it has this neat shit going on.
Right. Yeah,
It's-
it looks pretty good. Like for a GameCube game.
Yeah.
On top of just a game.
Mhm.
It was fun mechanically. Like there's a whole bunch of different puzzles and like figuring out how to take down each ghost. Where it wasn't like impossibly hard, where you had to like look it up
Yeah,
at any point, but it still was like you had to think about it some.
yeah. It was like it was very puzzling, and it was also at a time when just straight up looking up strats. It wasn't much of a thing yet. People did it, but it wasn't.
Brady guides.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was certainly a thing.
Yeah, I'm just saying not as much as it's like now people just go on to like. I know GameFAQs is a
I
thing.
still use GameFAQ to this day.
Yeah, so do I. It's but it had the ability to where you could have fun with it. Is my point. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't like you get totally stuck. You could figure it out
Right.
if you just put your brain to it.
I really enjoyed it. And like I said, it was honorable mention, and I really like the sequel also on 3DS.
Yeah,
Did not play it.
that one I think definitely is the one people should check out if for some reason they're not going to get to a GameCube or find a way to play Luigi's Mansion. The one on 3DS definitely.
Yeah, you can buy it brand new. Like I bought it still new wrapped at GameStop for $20. Like
Yeah.
that's a really good deal.
Nice.
All right, man, nice. Bernard, I see.
Beautiful Joe.
Oh, okay. I was like, this sounds
Fucking
really
good.
familiar, but I can't.
Beautiful Joe was just a damn fun game, and it was something the GameCube needed. A nice, uniquely done game where you can fast forward, rewind, pause, and beat the crap out of
It's
everything on the screen.
Fucking great. Yeah.
It is beautiful. It was the cell shading was amazing. It was for the time, and it gave the GameCube their original game that nobody else had until a year later, and it came on PlayStation. But still, Beautiful Joe was amazing.
A couple weeks ago, me and Connor were just talking about how it really holds up graphically.
Yeah,
because of the
it's like
shaders and
Cell
everything.
shaded games hold up graphically all around. I mean,
Exactly.
You know that company Clover Studio, they are the best like short-lived company to ever come out. Here they've only made like a handful of games. I mean, Beautiful Joe 2, Okami, and God Hand.
God hand, I remember that.
All fantastic games.
They made Okami?
Yeah.
Oh fuck! I had no idea.
Yeah.
Like Clover Studio, basically Beautiful Joe, Okami, and God Hand, which are all
They basically only
classics.
made classics. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Like, and then they're all games, but they didn't sell well, and so they shut down.
Okami sold great.
You know, fun little tidbit about Okami. I think I've mentioned
Didn't
it
it just
before.
get re-released for the?
Okami
it
HD just
did.
came out.
Yeah.
Funny little thing about Okami though is it had a port on the Wii, and when they put it on the market, they lazily just looked up on Google to grab a fan-made
Oh, yeah.
cover art, and the official version of Okami for the Wii has the IGN watermark on it. So if you go to the stores and you buy a copy of Okami for the Wii, it was, I think they didn't catch it until like the second printing either. So most of the copies of Okami have the IGN watermark just right there.
Oh yeah, yeah. Googled it.
That's
Yep,
funny.
you can see it there right on his shoulder. So
Yeah.
pretty
It's
funny.
Great studio. A lot of them ended up becoming Platinum Games.
Yes.
Which is another fantastic studio.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Well.
great choice, dude.
Yeah, Beautiful Joe's wonderful. Which actually, when he said Beautiful Joe and I started playing the music, it brought me up to another honorable mention, which is Time Splitters 2.
Oh yeah,
It's a fucking
I
rad
played that one
game.
in arcade.
I didn't put that on my list, but that's another honorable mention. That was just so much fun.
Yeah.
All right.
My number 4 is a game I'm pretty sure is going to be on someone else's list. This dude,
Yeah.
Animal Crossing GameCube.
Yeah, not only
Yeah, I know.
you know,
I'm just like I'm about 99% sure.
it should be 100.
Well, I mean, what if God take? I'm sorry, because I was quoting Roy Moore. God took control. Sorry, bad political.
God would still choose it.
It's over. He's gone.
Yeah, right. It's one of those games. It's the only Animal Crossing I've really put any time into, but I put so much time, and I would get so upset. Like I wouldn't play for a year, and I would go back, plug in the GameCube, plug it in, and there would be fucking weeds everywhere. I hated that. That made me want to start over.
Call Snoop Dogg over because we got a problem here.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. And like I remember I didn't grasp the concept of turning off a system right. So every time I would turn on the game, Mr. Rossetti would yell at me.
Oh, jeez. Sometimes
Every
you never got
time.
anything done either.
You have no idea.
Yeah. Again, so something that's really fun about the original Animal Crossing on GameCube versus the newer iterations is the animals' interactions. They're all just assholes in the original GameCube version, and it's very fun because, like Mr. Rossetti, for one, he would actually make you write "I'm an idiot," or and he would the animals themselves would be. Like you say, hey, you go around the town and be like, do you need anything? And they're like, you really don't have a life, do you? You keep talking to me. Like they were just total fucking dicks to you, and it was wonderful. And they got rid of that and kind of PC'd it up afterwards.
Damn, maybe I do need to try Animal Crossing again. I played New Leaf for maybe a total of 3 hours, and I was like, all right.
See, New Leaf, it's wonderful because mechanically it has the most for you to do, but the interactions. There was just something about it on GameCube where having that basically no filter aside from no swearing,
Right.
it was just really good.
I really enjoyed the collecting aspect. I really liked, I don't know what they're called, but the little wood like noise makers.
Oh, the gyroids.
I would just put all of those in my house, and you would go down. Like I wouldn't put them in the regular house either. I would like my living room would be really normal, couch, whatever, right? And then you would go down into the basement, and it would be dark, and all of them making noise exactly, and there would be like one light. It was fantastic, and I really liked how you could collect the old games.
Yeah, that's a feature that they got rid of. They never brought back. Is you could have the old Nintendo consoles and just start playing Excite Bike inside of Animal Crossing.
What the fuck?
Or Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Yeah,
or Top Punch Out with
and
Mr. Dream.
If you had the e-reader, you could get Super Mario Brothers in there.
Yeah, exactly. Amazing game all time around. I loved collecting the different things. It was great.
Fun fact about Animal Crossing on GameCube: the game was originally made for Nintendo 64. So when you put the game on, turn it on, all that stuff, it all loads into the RAM. So you can open it up and pull the disc out and fucking throw it away and still play for hours on end.
You just told me that recently.
Cool, man.
Fun shit.
So what's your number?
My number 4 is Legend of Zelda: Wind Waker. Fan-fucking-tastic game. It's
that's really funny that you just said that. That was a nice pun. Wind fan.
Okay, Andrew. Okay.
Oh boy. Yep. I'm gonna walk out.
You get it? Just because they're fans.
Oh my god. Okay, so Legend of Zelda: Wind Waker. It is and has been essentially my favorite Zelda game. And it has one of the most fluid and advanced forms of combat in the Zelda games, which many, for some reason, it like afterwards they kind of got rid of. Like in Twilight Princess, yeah, they still kept it pretty solid there because you actually learned new moves and everything. But then, like when they went to Skyward Sword, they had the one-to-one motion, but it was brought down to basically slash, and there wasn't so much of this dynamic jumping and moving around and figuring out other enemies and their combat styles. It was in Wind Waker very, very solid on how you approached each enemy, especially the Anubis guards. Those guys were cool because they had that armor that made them impenetrable unless you got around behind them and sliced them up the back to cut their armor off. So,
yeah, it's one of my favorite Legend of Zelda games. I'm not a huge Legend of Zelda fan, and kind of what they were saying or what we said earlier, it is cel shaded. So it is a game that still looks fantastic to this day.
Yeah, and if you put it on, say, like the Dolphin emulator and run it in 4K, you're looking at some seriously good looking game. It's there's a little bit like the skybox is a little leaves a bit to be wanted, and there's the shaders are whatever. Those are dated. But the actual game itself looks really clean, and there's mods. Like they updated it with the HD version, giving the better skybox and the shading. But it's overall, it's a super good looking game, and it has a great story. I mean, one thing people hate is the seafaring.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. I thought it was
loved
relaxing.
it because for me, I was like, I'm always been into fishing, and I love the sea. So for me, just cruising the sea and listening to the epic music as you're just traveling the waves, it was very fun. I liked it. So.
Yeah. All right. Miguel, what is your number 3?
Let me check. Oh, yeah. Pikmin 2.
It's a wonderful game.
Love the fuck out of Pikmin. God damn, dude. I don't know what it is about taking care of smaller things in a game.
You with?
Yeah. I don't know what it is about it, but I just...
Are you a furry?
Not even...
What?
What? They're flowers.
What the fuck? Don't ever disrespect.
It's like you did. I'm like you. I still haven't heard you say no.
No,
so.
you fuck. Anyway, how does that connect?
Because I just realized every one of these games, you're like, I love taking care of these small animals.
I didn't say
Small
animals.
things.
Anything
Small
small
things. That's
small,
fair.
something small that you take care of, and like, what the fuck how does that translate? What
Maybe you want to be their daddy.
is wrong with you?
Oh my
A
God.
lot, actually.
Anyway, yeah, like I would try my hardest to not let my Pikmin die like all the time. Like just if I lost any, I was like, fuck. And then my dad would come in like, excuse me?
Just whoop the
No.
shit out of you.
No, I used to not have such a foul mouth. Yeah, and like it was fun like doing different days trying to figure out like the best not items, but like where the best things were around.
Mhm.
Like oh yeah, there's a fucking giant ass 20 pellet right here,
There's
so you
a
can
big bottle cap over here. It's
you
doubles
could
as
real
a
quick
pellet.
get just 20 fucking fat ass purple Pikmin.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool because like Pikmin is essentially an RTS at its core, like how
Right.
it runs, and it's funny because that's always the complaint people have. They're like, oh, you can't put an RTS on console, and like StarCraft was on the N64, and it was like pretty hell to go through it. And then there's been Halo Wars since, which like arguably some people liked, but a lot of people are like, oh, it's watered down or whatnot.
But it was so fucking smooth for a console RTS. It's because it was made by Ensemble, the people that made Age of Empires and all that shit.
Yeah.
The kings of RTSs until
But that's my
fucking
point is like with
Blizzard
Pikmin,
came around.
it's like people, it does so well that it doesn't think that like people don't think about it as an RTS and it
right
just plays well.
Yeah, because it kind of is, but
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, the bosses were fucking insane, like giant birds and shit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. You felt really like you were in peril,
And it
when
was
you were
always
fighting
good seeing like
them,
multiple grub dogs. Like,
right? And the mini games, they're pretty rage inducing too. But
did you play Pikmin, Andrew?
I did not. I was.
oh, you poor soul.
Yeah, I just didn't. I tried playing it. I believe someone let me borrow Pikmin 1, and I wasn't a huge fan.
Mhm.
The way
I
you
know-
like hesitate. What?
I don't remember if it was 1 or 2. Only thing I remember about number 2 is when you bought it, you basically could play it on PC for free.
Oh, yes. You just throw the disc into a PC tray and it boots up.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that worked. The
Yeah,
fuck?
it's
The mini discs.
It's specifically well because there's in every disc tray there is that, but not every game booted. But for some reason they fucked up on the
Coding?
What's the word for it? It's not blocker, but the thing that makes it look for being a GameCube, and it's just not there. So it just gets picked up by Windows as
Huh.
being a ROM, and
That's
it's
cool.
playable. So really fun.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. I never. I don't know what's going on back there right now. Bernard left, and our owner just went back there and did something, and he flipped me off. Love you, buddy. Yeah,
I mean, he's punk, so for him that's like just waving.
that's true. Actually, I didn't think about that. That's just how he says hello.
Yeah.
You think he does that at where he works? He's just like, "Hi, welcome."
This is where he works.
Well, all right, that's fair. Yeah, no, it was never one of the games I really got into. Again, maybe now that I'm older, and I would go back and play it, I would enjoy it. But when I was younger, I didn't, and it's weird because one of the first games I ever played was Age of Empires, and I loved Age of
Oh
Empires
yeah,
as a
you were
child.
telling me about that.
Same here.
Yeah.
Great.
It is. It's fantastic. I still love it, and I have it on Steam. And
Don't you
I
get
bought
your
it
ass
for
whooped by your
Connor. My mom, dude. Holy
Hmm?
shit.
You can whoop his
She
ass
is
at
the
Age of Empires.
Best Age of Empires player I've ever met.
That's funny.
Like, I remember I bought her the Steam version. I was like, hey, Mom, let's play now that I'm older and I'm better. And she goes, all right. Like, she was like, fine, right? And I'm playing and I'm sitting there and I'm doing all the things.
And
And,
you're
then,
like, yeah, I'm
like,
gonna do it.
I'm going to do it. And like 10 minutes later, I see her walk outside and she goes, I'm going to go take a smoke break. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I said, and she goes, no, keep going. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like, I'm going to do it. And she's sitting there and then she goes back inside and sits down on the chair and is looking at me. And she goes, let me know when you're ready. And I'm like, all right. And then I'm like, all right, Mom, come at me. And she goes, all right. And she goes in the other room and I'm dead in 5 minutes. Like, literally, she just like, oh, and destroys me. And I've seen her play online against other people and she
What?
destroys them.
That's funny.
She's like so fucking good at
You
that
should
game.
get your mom on StarCraft and see if she can become a world champion.
She has
and get
zero
money.
interest. She has zero interest in anything else. Like, she played that, Command and Conquer, and I think original Warcraft.
Wow.
Right? She's so
'Cause-
good at real-time strategy games. It's
Yeah, 'cause,
insane.
StarCraft, she could actually make the big money. It's still
Is
that
today.
still a thing?
Yeah,
It
it still
is.
is. Yeah.
It is. Anyway, so I know you're listening right now, Mother.
It's free now too.
Please
Yeah.
go play StarCraft 2, make a lot of money, and go kick some ass. All
Yeah.
right. So I guess
you reverse the steps.
no, I said it correctly. All right, so I guess we'll go into my number 3
Since Bernard is
since B-Man left us,
MIA right now.
right? My number 3 is Resident Evil 4.
Oh, that's one of my honorable mentions.
Man,
I forgot to fucking mention it.
it's so good. I played it originally on GameCube, and I beat it, and I probably beat it a few more times on GameCube. I'd probably say a handful of times.
Mhm.
But I think I've played it and beat it on almost every other console I've gotten. Like, that's just a game where if I see it on sale and I don't own it on the console, I'm like, yeah, okay. And then I'll beat it, and I'll be happy. It's fantastic. It's widely considered one of the top 10 games of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Because it innovated the genre. Not only did it innovate Resident Evil, but it innovated third-person shooters.
Dude, it's
horror.
a big old escort mission that doesn't suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even as annoying as Ashley can be sometimes, it's
Just hardly at all.
exactly. It's fantastic, and everything from it's still a little scurry. As a kid, I was scared.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not
Same
the,
here.
the zombies weren't that bad. I'm like, oh, okay, but like you got to that freezer. And those things that were like you have to put on the scope with the sniper rifle, and if you had to shoot them in very specific places,
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
those dudes were scary as hell.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Still to this day, I'm playing it and I'm like,
Dude with the blade hands, where you're in that cramped little.
oh yeah,
cell,
with the
that-
bells.
Yeah, that motherfucker frightened the
I
shit out
still
of me.
love that if
And
you
Napoleon.
if you just didn't
He's just
spend your
weird.
money and shit, and you just save up for an RPG. the rest of the game, if you just get an RPG, is fuck yeah, I'm gonna win, bitches. Everything dies in one hit.
I love that when you beat it, also you unlock more costumes.
Yeah.
Like, I really love Leon in that like old gangster outfit, and then you got like the gun, like a revolver with unlimited ammo, and a gat with unlimited ammo.
I
Fantastic.
really like his RPD
Tommy gun.
outfit. That one, the Raccoon Police Department.
Yeah,
That one's just he's got the knife on there and everything. It looks really nice and
It's-
just clean.
it's one of those games that anyone who likes shooters even a little bit will like it.
And it's funny because they kind of like softened the game afterwards. Because in Resident Evil 4, like you get your head cut off with a chainsaw, you see Leon's fucking head roll off his shoulders and onto the ground. But then, like in Resident Evil 5, that's not the case. Like it cuts just away from their head, and you see the blood splatter and everything, but you don't just see their head fucking roll
It
off.
usually cuts before
Yeah.
they're like done.
Yeah, but like that was one thing I really liked about Resident Evil 4 is that it was just brutal and raw, like just bam in your face. This is going on.
Yeah.
So,
Fantastic game. All the ports are really good. The Wii port was surprisingly good. The HD remasters are great. It's a game that should be on every console because it's a classic in every sense of the word. Connor!
yeah,
Actually, no, it's not your turn.
Yeah, it is.
yeah.
We're going
Oh,
clockwise.
yeah.
It's my turn.
It's his number 3.
Is Bernard gone, or is he just smoking, or what the heck's going on? Should I go back there? I don't know. I could, but
You could.
It's either way. We'll just go ahead and go to my 3. I'll go on there after this.
Yeah, what time is it? When are we?
Fucking Soul Calibur 2.
I knew it.
Hell yeah, dog.
We had a short discussion on the way over. He wasn't gonna put Smash Bros. On his
Well,
list.
I said I think I actually did put it on, which is I ended up putting it as my number 5. The Sims was originally on my list, and I was like, oh no, I'm gonna bump Sims into an honorable mention. Is what happened.
Yeah, and he was like, "There's a fighting game though," and I was like, "Is it exclusive?"
And I
he
was
goes,
like,
"Not entirely."
not
Like,
entirely.
okay, it's Soul Calibur.
Yeah, Soul Calibur 2 is fucking great. It's I might have played it less than Soul Calibur 4 on Xbox 360, but I definitely played Soul Calibur 2 a ton.
I played that
And
one on PS2.
I very much like Link, even though he was overpowered as shit
Was
in the GameCube version. Yeah, he was basically like he hit hard and he was fast. It was really like fucked up. Like he was like as fast as like some of the like female characters, but he had just the power like fucking like especially if you had the hammer. If you use the hammer, you were hitting as like hard as Azeroth, but you were moving on like level with Keelik. You know, it's just like I'm
Keelik
gonna
is my
fucking
shit.
ruin you, and it's like, oh, they're dead. That was one combo, and I just got my fucking ass beat with a hammer. So I mean, when you're holding a hammer that's as big as a torso and moving as fast as Keelik, I guess you should expect someone to just die that quickly.
Yeah, right. Soul Calibur is one of those games I always enjoy, but it's
Mhm.
never like a game I feel like I need to play.
You're a bad person.
I mean,
Soul Calibur fucking 6 is coming.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I'm not big on fighting games, but I'm
I'm gonna play the fuck out of Soul Calibur.
Fighters in Soul Calibur.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Fighters.
Oh man.
It's gonna be a
So,
good game for fighting
I
games.
think
Or good
another
year.
thing to note, like just as far as like personal silly shit, as a growing boy, Soul Calibur with like Ivy and Taki.
Oh yeah,
It was you got the BDSM
Ocean
woman,
Beach.
and yeah, Taki wore a skin tight bodysuit without a bra. It was wonderful as a little kid. You see her like nips through it. In
Oh,
two, in 2 you
Jesus.
did.
It's only because like of the model
It's
having
the
a
way it
point
was.
there.
It's
They're not modeled.
but they also
nipples, it's
fucking
just because-
sway.
Yes,
and they like freely. So there was that going on
yeah.
for it.
They didn't model nipples into her or even texture them. It's just
It's there.
the way 3D models
It's-
of women.
As a little boy,
as a little boy, those were some fucking
that
nipples.
was the shit, man. That was the game. And then fucking I remember my little brother, fucking he's even younger than me. So he was like 7 or 8 at the time when we were playing Soul Calibur 2. I remember one time he's playing as Ivy, and he fucking gets the whip part where she's like spinning it, and then he noticed that she's fucking like jiggling back and forth, and then he just stopped for a second, like he was about to, because he started getting pretty good with Ivy and everything. But it was really funny the first time he did that, and then we like were fighting mid-fight, and he just stops, and he's like, "Wait," and then she's just jiggling.
Wait.
It was the suspension, like, I don't know, it was funny because he's a little kid. It's like, you little perv.
That's great.
Fun. Yeah, it was a fun game, great game. I really wish that it would be on Nintendo systems afterwards, because just having Link as a guest character was really good.
Yeah, I don't understand why it's not.
Hey,
oh
our
look,
engineer's
Bernard
back.
came back. It was like
Hey.
just in time.
Hey, it's Bernard.
We can have him.
Let's fill some dead air so he can get back on the
We don't need to
microphone.
fill dead air because we only
Yeah,
got
what the
like
fuck? We could have
fucking.
just kept talking.
Yeah, we
Keep
can
going. And
Yeah,
also,
we don't have much time left.
Yeah,
hey,
right.
Bernard, what's your number 3? Hurry.
My number 3 is Eternal Darkness, Sandi's Requiem.
Okay, yeah, he mentioned it.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Miguel,
Number 2?
what's your number 2?
Fucking,
Y'all do too.
Perfect timing.
Right? Yeah. Super Smash Brothers Melee.
Hey, we mentioned that earlier. It was a
Yeah.
fucking good game.
It's the only, not the only. I was gonna say it's my favorite Melee or Smash Bros. It's fucking good. Like
You like the original, yeah?
I like the original. Yes. I like the Wii version. a
You just
fair
don't
amount.
like the 8-man on Wii U?
Yeah, I hate.
But you like the Wii U version other than that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The Wii U version is fine. I'm not as good at it as I am on Melee.
Uh-huh.
So I probably it's either tied with the original or maybe a little less
Mm-hmm.
because I just had a lot of fun.
I
with
think
the original.
honestly the biggest thing about Melee that's like bugging me is that there's not the creative stage, which is pretty fun.
Fuck that. I don't care. the controls are tight. And
But
it's just-
honestly, yeah, it has the best version of the Temple of Time, because you can have Fight Club down in there and it just get to like the huge increments of fucking like up to 900% damage and still be bouncing around in there.
what's different about it?
They changed the actual like angles of the hitboxes in the Wii version in Brawl and onward, so that when you get hit, instead of being bounced around in there and remaining and only having a few specific spots, it will hit and then you'll slide down right out. Or they got rid of the edge at top so that when you hit it, you'll just slide and keep continuing. So you die a lot easier in Brawl and stuff.
Oh, lame.
So, but in Melee, it was completely like that was the fucking fight box right there. The shit box, as we used to call it.
It's Melee.
Yeah. All right, Bernard, number 2.
Number 2 is, I don't know how to pronounce this right, but Ikaruga. Ikaruga. Have you guys played that?
Heard of it.
I have not personally.
You would love it.
I probably would.
It's a bullet hell where you have the different colors.
Fuck yeah.
And that game, I think it's rare. I still have the copy. It is so much fun, even though you die every 5-6 seconds.
Yeah, it's literally. I played the junior version. They had a Danny Phantom game on GameCube, which on Game Boy, which used the same mechanics as Ikaruga. You suck up the different dots.
Yeah, and you get the super power. Yeah, it is so. For bullet hell games, it is great. My thing I tell you to do is look at the guy who plays it 2-player by himself on arcade machine.
Fucking Lord.
That's cool.
It's the craziest video on YouTube ever, and it is crazy fun. Crazy.
Nice.
I'm not a big bullet hell guy, but when that's a good one where you actually have a control of what you can get hit by and what you can't get hit by.
That's fucking cool.
Yep. All right, my number 2, Fire Emblem Path of Radiance.
Oh, cool.
Fantastic game. Again, first game I learned about permadeath, and it hit me in ways I didn't expect it to. Also, I loved the evolution system in the game, where basically once you hit level 10, you transform into a better version of yourself. So if you're a knight, you're going to turn into like a Sir Knight. I don't know the terms, but you basically get both an upgrade in stats and a visual upgrade. So like if you were wearing pelt armor, all of a sudden your dude's just like huge and wearing... It's amazing. Great story, great equipment. It's a Fire Emblem game. If you haven't played it, play it. If not...
Fuck you.
Go back.
Yeah, exactly, pretty much. All right, go ahead, Connor.
Harvest Moon, A Wonderful Life. That's my number 2. Like, it's arguably like when we talk about my favorite games of all time, like Animal Crossing is in there, and it always brings that like you got like we were mentioning before, like just all the life games. And I mentioned Harvest Moon on Super Nintendo. It's made its way on a couple of these lists. And I mentioned it on last week on the Game Boy Advance, episode. And the cool thing with Wonderful Life is it actually paired up with Friends of Mineral Town, so you could actually play both, and there was a bit of interaction there. This game was really nice. The music was extremely well done. It had a full instrumental soundtrack, and it was pretty fun seeing. There's Nami, one of the characters. She will just straight up not be in the game if you don't make friends with her in the first year.
Whoa.
So yeah, she just leaves and she's gone forever. If you didn't like, the whole game was dynamic where like people died in it, and it actually changed through. And the whole point was that you're going through life and seeing all these different changes. And mechanically, as a Harvest Moon game, it had all the pieces streamlined. So it was a lot of fun.
I mean, you didn't have to run back and forth to the shed.
Yeah, you didn't have that going on. But once they implemented that into Friends of Mineral Town, that's been in all of them since. So
nice.
But yeah, they had like the incubation going on, like little machines. You can make your own seeds in this one. So it was a lot of fun. It was a good game. Good game. You had fishing.
Good fishing?
That's another thing Connie says about games.
Yeah,
Fishing.
it's got fishing. There's like a 9 out of 10% chance that I will like it.
How I like Tiny Companions. Connie likes fishing.
Do you just like fishing games like Rapala Pro?
No,
Bass
actually.
Fishing?
No, that's what's really funny is okay. So my buddy Nate, we were talking about this. Like I was playing fucking Breath of the Wild at this moment. We were talking about. Oh, this is actually my favorite song that was in. Anyways, I was like, man, a problem with Breath of the Wild though. There's no fishing in it. And he was like, what the fuck is with you and fishing in games? And he's like, Minecraft is fishing. Animal Crossing is fishing. He was just going through. He's like, you always play games with fishing, and it's fucking weird. And I was like, I like fishing, man. And then he's like, do you like fishing? He's like, why don't you just play fishing games? I don't like the sport fishing games because then it's too serious. I like being able to. I like having the ability to go fishing, not strictly doing it. Yeah.
All right.
Bernard, for my number one, there's a specific song I want you to use. It's called "Escape from the City" because
Oh.
the game is Sonic Adventure 2 Battle.
Oh, that's funny.
Now, Sonic games historically, well, not historically, nowadays, since this
2D was good. Yeah.
well, you would say that, but this is a 3D Sonic game.
I know. No, I'm saying like because you were about to say traditionally. Like I think you were about to say bad.
Traditionally 3D Sonic games, there we go,
shit.
are terrible. Oh yeah. Rolling around.
Why don't you
Anyway.
go with Pumpkin Hill, man? All right. Go
What?
ahead.
Fucking because Escape from the City. It's the
Yeah,
first level.
it
Like
is,
you can't.
yeah.
You come into this game and you're just like, fuck yeah, dude.
Might as well have a skateboard. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Well, fuck that. It's Sonic.
Yeah.
I don't want to play Sonic Riders. I want to play fucking Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. And there's chows. There's the Chow Garden. You take care of tiny fucking companions, and you can make them fight each other.
Just, yeah, the same shit as before. You're taking care of little people.
I don't understand your obsession. Like, if there was a game that you could take care of little things while fishing, like, you two would be like, yeah, let's do this.
Oh,
that's Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter is
We gotta play the
good.
fuck out of Monster Hunter, bro.
Right, we will because we both have Switches. We'll
Right.
be able to play it wherever and whenever.
Well, also PS4.
Yeah, that's true.
You gotta renew your gold. Anyway, in interest of time, go ahead, Bernard. Oh. Wow, really?
Pac-Man World 2?
No, I'm going Pack Versus. Have you guys ever heard of
Pac-Man
Pack Versus?
Yeah, Pac-Man
So
Versus.
Pack Versus, if the people out who don't know, you have to have a Game Boy Advance and a Connect with it, and 3 controllers. What happens is your 3 friends get to play the Ghost, and the guy with the Game Boy Advance to play Pac-Man. How much more fun can it be to have your friends kill you as a ghost when you're playing Pac-Man? And the ghosts play blind, basically. It's amazing, fun, another good drinking game. Okay, I'm done.
Super good. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why it's number one, because you can't really replicate it unless you have a Dreamcast, a GameCube.
The Wii U was the only thing that like afterwards could do something like that, but the Wii U fucking failed. So.
I mean, I love Pac-Man Versus. Anytime we go to an arcade, I want to get some homies and play it.
I play it twice a year at the GameWorks in Seattle for PAX and the Emerald City Comic Con.
Yeah.
And me and my friends sit there with beers and just wipe our card and play Pac-Man Versus all day long.
It's so good. Like, they have a really good copy at round 1. Fucking train. Really good copy at round 1. All right, so my number 1. Fucking, this is gonna come as a shock. My favorite WWE game came on the GameCube.
Wow.
I know. It's called Day of Reckoning. It is so good.
I don't know if I remember that one.
Had a fantastic story, a really good multiplayer, along with music. Oh, yeah. God, this soundtrack was amazing. Breaking Benjamin.
Oh.
One of the things that this game did that almost no other wrestling games have ever done, when I never understood why. Let's say a computer has Miguel up in a suplex and he's about to get him. Well, I can spear the dude who's suplexing him, and you'll get dropped on your head and take a little bit of damage, but I will stop the move. And you can stop any move like that in the entire game. And on top of that, had one of the best Easter eggs where if you hit the referee enough times, he will just stop putting up with your shit and kick your ass. It's amazing. Like, you hit him and he goes down like a referee. You hit him and he goes down. You do it for like a few minutes and he turns into Steve Austin. He flips you off and he starts stunnering you and hitting you on the ground. It's amazing.
That's funny as shit.
It's like when me and my friends were playing, we're like, do you guys want to fight the final boss? and they're
Just
like,
start playing One Winged
right, and they're
Angel.
just like, not again, because he would just fantastic game all around. Yeah, I put so many hours into it, and it's probably one of the few games where I was just so good at it, and I don't know how else to say it. Like, I would, whenever we'd play, I would win more 80-90% of the matches, just because I got so good at the countering system. Like, if there was ever such a thing as a pro Day of Reckoning tournament, I'm fairly certain to this day I could still go on and kick some ass and take money.
Take names.
I did it right this time. All right, so that's my number 1. Great game.
We're gonna all say Connors.
Oh. All right. 3, 2, 1. Animal Crossing.
Yeah, fuck yeah, I love Animal Crossing, dude. I
Mhm.
fucking wasted like most of my childhood on that. Like, so the funny thing is, like, I remember the marketing for Animal Crossing being fucking like the real world on MTV. Like, that's how the advertising campaign went in America. And the first time I actually got to play Animal Crossing was at my cousin's house. I was spending a month in Las Vegas with my family over there, and that's when I learned about Animal Crossing. And that's when my life changed, because hundreds of thousands of hours, probably. I don't know.
I wouldn't say that.
Who knows? Thousands of hours have been thrown into Animal Crossing, whether it's the GameCube version, Wild World, fucking City Folk, New Leaf. Lots of hours. I probably could have done something like learned several instruments in the time that I've played Animal Crossing, or learned languages, or it's something
Doing something productive.
Yeah, but instead I become a millionaire in Animal Crossing,
And all of them.
multiple times. Yeah, like it's always really funny. Like I'm hugely playing. Like I fucking Black Friday came, I bought a second copy of New Leaf, and including the digital version, it's like my third town now.
You've been alive for roughly 220,000 hours.
Yeah,
So I really
50,000 of that is Animal Crossing.
Another 20,000 is fucking Team Fortress 2.
No, I only have about 250 hours in that. But still, Animal Crossing.
I'm sorry. Another 250 hours, or another 500 hours is Necopara.
Probably. No, I actually just looked at that. But if it's any solace for you, I have about 50 hours in Necopara. Is that no? The other shit ton of time is in Minecraft.
Oh, there we go.
Fuck ton in Minecraft. But Animal Crossing is such a great little game. Like, I don't know, like when I play games, I really just want to calm the fuck down and not worry about anything. And that's what Animal Crossing does.
It's so funny because, like, in your games, you're like, I want to calm down. Here are my favorite games: Minecraft, Harvest Moon, Animal Crossing, and fucking Doom.
I'm gonna blow the fucking doors off everything, man, and just beat the shit out of them. Yeah, that's actually how it goes. Like, if I'm heated and I need to cool down, I'll play some Doom and then go to Animal Crossing. If it's just like, all right, I've been busy, I need to chill out, I'll just go straight to Animal Crossing or Minecraft. But yeah, Doom, it is a solid jump, you know. It's like Doom.
That's taking it to fucking 10 right away.
Yeah. Again, I should make a video game that is like Animal Crossing,
But Doom
with
fishing, right?
We getting lucky?
Yeah. Oh, that's because he's playing us out.
Yeah, we gotta get the
lucky by KK
K
Slider.
Get lucky. Look at that, man.
That's funny.
That's rad as shit.
I
should do that though. I should make a game where you have you have Animal Crossing and Doom. It's gotta be somehow connected to each other. I'm pretty sure it can be done.
It'd be like a 7 Days to Die, where during the day it's all normal and you got to worry about your life.
Yeah.
And then at night,
it's like time to reload, bitch.
No, you're gonna be playing regular Doom, right? And Doom's gonna take off his mask and it's gonna be Tom Nook.
Here's
still owe me
Here's the
money.
kicker. It's Animal Crossing versus. So it's the mayors go against each other and you got to slaughter other people's towns.
Jesus.
Cool. So it's like Rust.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Rust is so fun.
Rust is a good game too. But yeah, that's how it'll work. So, yeah.
Nice. All right, so I think that's everyone's number ones, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So we had a fun-filled show today. We opened up some board games and some cool water speakers. We talked about net neutrality with an amazing writer from Forbes.
We did that?
Yeah, we did. Janet Burns, great stuff. And then we talked about our top 5 GameCube games. Next week, they are going to be counting down their top 5 original Xbox games, I believe.
Xbox.
Right. I wasn't a big Xbox guy,
I
so
didn't have my own Xbox.
yeah, exactly. I don't think Brandon did either.
So it's just gonna be me talking about Xbox for now. Bernard, you played Xbox, yeah? We're gonna be fucking jamming
Still
on this.
got one.
There we go.
Yeah, so we'll see what we can do. Until then, from everyone here at Chaotic Radio and the Kinda Gaming Show, stay chaotic.
Excellent.